What does it mean that God is Jehovah-Jireh? We're going to answer that question. You can also discover more on gotquestions.org. Jehovah-Jireh is one of the many different names of God found in the Old Testament. Jehovah-Jireh is the King James Version's translation of meaning. It is the name memorialized by Abraham when God provided the ram to be sacrificed in place of Isaac. The story begins with a strange command from God to Abraham, instructing him to offer his son of promise, Isaac, as a burnt offering. Early the next morning, Abraham packs wood and a knife, and he and Isaac travel to Moriah, the place God had specified. As they near the site, Isaac questions Abraham concerning the intended offering. "Where's the lamb?" With great faith and foresight, Abraham responds, "God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son." The New Testament tells us that Abraham believed God would raise Isaac from the dead. Upon reaching the place God had chosen, Abraham demonstrates his faith and obedience by building an altar, binding Isaac, and placing him on the wood. Before Abraham can finish the offering, the angel of the Lord calls to him from heaven, and Isaac's life is spared. Then Abraham looked up, and there in a thicket he saw a ram caught by its horns. He went over and took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering instead of his son. Abraham names the place Jehovah-Jireh because God's gracious provision of a substitute for Isaac. Immediately afterwards, God reconfirms his covenant with Abraham. Centuries later, King Solomon would build the temple in the same location. The account of Abraham on Mount Moriah thus becomes more than a dramatic illustration of faith and obedience. It is a presentation of the Lord's eternal grace, continual provision, and all-encompassing wisdom. Jehovah-Jireh is not "the Lord did provide," but "the Lord will provide." In other words, the name does not simply memorialize a past event, it anticipates a future action. Likewise, the statement, "On the mountain of the Lord it will be provided," refers to more than Mount Moriah. It also refers to a hill called Calvary, where God did not spare his own son, but gave him up for us all. Abraham's faith-filled statement that God himself will provide the lamb is a companion to John the Baptist's exclamation, "Look, the Lamb of God, who takes away the sin of the world." Jehovah-Jireh provided a sacrifice to save Isaac, and that action was a foreshadowing of the provision of his son for the salvation of the world. That answers the question, what does it mean that God is Jehovah-Jireh? On our website, gotquestions.org, you'll find a deeper discussion and recommended resources. If this helped you, give us a thumbs up and click subscribe. Meanwhile, if you'd like to study more, click the bell and check out these other questions.